This passage from I Stay Away, Alice in Chains, has always been a perfect example of why I love the blend of Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell, and why I love Lane's voice in general. And also frustrates me because I can't sound anywhere near what this blend creates. Why you act crazy, I was doing an ear training study the other day and practicing all of the different harmony parts, learning them, feeling how they work in my voice, but also with each other. Super fun thing to do. I highly recommend trying it. But in that process, I was getting really frustrated with my voice because even though I would move my placement around and do different things with my voice to try to get that lazy, aggressive, it wasn't working. It sounded contrived. It sounded like a really bad, dumb imitation. And though I was getting the harmonies correct, every time I would go back and listen to what Alice in Chains was actually doing vocally, why you act crazy, not enact me. I eventually threw in the towel and said, okay, I can be bright and nasally, that's cool, but I've got to cut off my propensity to imitate and just pull ideas. Okay, nasal and sort of compressed and raspy, but not like Lane, just let it be me. And then I'm going to put my own version of aggression in there and then see what happens. And when I did that, when I said concept, not sound, things started to work. Oh, son, lady, shifty and shady. By the way, I love how Lane will go sharp on his vibrato, and it creates this extra, this wincy eeriness. He goes sharp on his vibrato. Lots of people tend to dip a little bit more flat with vibrato. He tends to go sharp. I love it. Here is how my non-imitative interpretation started to unfold. This doesn't sound anything like any of the parts in the passage here. Why you act crazy, not enact maybe. So one of the frustrations that I had doing this is I wasn't getting enough air out of my voice. It's like, well, rather than put EQ air into it, I'm just going to double it like he doubles it. There's also a double of Lane in the center of the original, but I'm going to do it with more air and way less emphasis on pitch. And the blend really worked. Why you act crazy, not enact maybe, not enact maybe. This one's probably the most like the posture of one of those vocalists. But it's more covered. Why you act crazy, right on the edge of breakup. It's certainly my own, but I can own it as my own instead of being ashamed of it. This exercise that I've shown you here is an exercise that I take my students through inside my coaching program, Sing Together 365. Not only do I present to you how to do it, but I get to listen to you and offer feedback and coach you through the process of doing this exercise and tons of other exercises like it that are targeted to you as a student and designed by request from students. If you'd like to join me for an immersive experience exploring what's possible with your voice, with me helping you face to face, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and try my coaching program, Sing Together 365. Here's my representation of this passage after lots and lots of struggle. Why you once I started to get inspired by the direction this was taking with my own voice, I thought back to right turn. What would it sound like if we had another voice come over the top? Of those four and soar like Cornell did over the "We ain't right, we ain't right, yeah, we ain't right." What would that sound like if someone came in there and I started experimenting with it? And I'm telling you, going this direction with songs that you've listened to for a long time, going in and trying to figure out what they're doing from a harmony perspective, from a placement perspective, from a production perspective, treating it as an exercise, as a way to practice. But then pulling from something else and going, what would it sound like if we did this and this and this? It makes you feel so alive and inspires you to do things in your own music that you never would have done, because you start to be okay with going, well, I don't know, let's play. Yes. Here's what I came up with. Right turn indeed. Maybe not the correct right turn, but fun. Now, listening to this, you can hear where I started playing with my perception of Lane's placement and what I have trained in my voice based on my perception of Cornell's placements. Do you hear how I threw the resonance back? I crowed it extra right here. So close, our lady. So close, our lady. Ha, ha, ha. When we listen to the stack, so close, our lady, it makes that step down pop a little bit more because I adjusted my resonance along with the note. It's this idea of listening to the group of vocalists and then finding out how much you want to blend, and then finding little parts where you can experiment with your placement, even in the midst of the notes, to pop here and there. You don't have to do near as much mixing on your voice if you're conscious of these kinds of opportunities while you're recording. Diving into the struggle and victories here with me over this passage. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you'd like me to help you walk through exercises like this, including this exercise, and get face-to-face regular feedback from me as your vocal coach, click that link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my coaching program, Sing Together 365. And here's another mindset/technique video you might be interested in.